Dan and Dane, would you just like to quickly introduce yourselves, please?
Yeah, so my name's Dane Hamilton. I'm the CIO at Shoalhaven City Council. I've been there for about 2 years now. We started our journey with Nitro probably about 12 months ago. And, you know, as Michael said, we've got a lot of value out of that in that time.
Yeah, Dan Jones, I'm IT manager at Shoalhaven. I've been at Shoalhaven for about 7 years now, and I've seen quite a few, quite a lot of changes through that time. Yeah.
Terrific. So start maybe with you, Dane. Is I guess when you were initially looking at Nitro from a driver's perspective, what was driving the council to look for another solution, and what sort of challenges were you hoping to overcome along the way?
Yeah, really for us originally it was value. We were looking at how we managed our signing and PDF management solution, and we were capped to a number of users. We made the decision to have a look in the market to see what else was out there, because we felt there was something that had a lot better functionality and could help us get over that admin required around trying to chop and change with the number of users that have that functionality. Around the time we were doing that too, it was on the back of COVID as well. So for most people and most organisations in the world, they would have gone through the Great Resignation. So there were people coming in and out of the business. So it was very challenging to try and manage seated licensing during that period.
You touch on an interesting point there. I mean, the whole remote working, and it's still very much like that today in a lot of councils and a lot of businesses. And off the back of that, we've seen this demand from the employees where they're coming to IT and they're expecting to have these tools as part of what they do, particularly when they're not in an office, where they can turn around and ask someone, hey, can I borrow that tool to do something with it? And we're still seeing that continue on today. Dan, from your perspective, I guess when looking at the solutions, what made Nitro stand out as the best choice?
Not only did we see that it was a fully featured PDF editor, the total license cost compared to Adobe was a lot less, and just removing the need for the ongoing license management overhead because of the site license, it was just very attractive. Yeah.
Okay. And Dane, from your perspective, as you started to implement Nitro, what strategically were the things you were thinking about, as far as the change management process? Because that's probably the number one concern. Once people go, okay, it ticks the box from a product perspective and a financial perspective, but how are you going to help my council change? Yeah,
that was a big consideration, change management. If you look at a lot of the strategic documents around Shoalhaven on our website, it does outline that we've got an ageing workforce at Shoalhaven, and I always thought that a change like this, particularly where you've got a lot of senior administrative staff that do a lot of combination of PDFs for agenda and minute taking, that it would be reasonably challenging to get them on board, but we were really happy with the support that was provided by Nitro. We initially ran a pilot, ran a survey at the end of that pilot, and most of the power users that were involved in that process were really happy and spoke really positively around the product, and that made the decision really easy to move forward. And from there, we rolled out and did a number of other training sessions, webinars, and really supported the workforce through that process. And I think that's a real strong point of Nitro and the process we undertook.
And so part of, I guess, what we've done there is helping with our customer success team, not just at the start a year ago, but ongoing throughout the agreement, because obviously people come and go in organisations and people want access to the best training that they can be exposed to, and Debbie, our CSM, works really closely ongoing with the council. Dan, again, I guess from a change perspective, from the IT point of view, what are your views on how Nitro, I guess, helped ensure that transition and smooth change?
Yeah, it's been a success story really, and probably just elaborating more on Dane's response and what you said, but Nitro sort of assisted us with that implementation and communications plan from the outset. And we had sort of a real clear story moving forward, and just with the user adoption and the training provided, ongoing training, really sort of helped us deliver. And we also recorded our training sessions and made them available to those staff that missed out on the training. So no one was sort of left out, and those sort of, I guess you could call the slower adopters and the change naysayers, we just provided more training, and Nitro through Debbie provided more training where required. Yeah, it was just a real success story. And just the other thing that Nitro have provided is that learning self-service portal with just the how-to guides, and that makes it easy to deliver. And we don't hear much anymore from the support from our staff requiring that additional support for Nitro. Yeah.
So just Dane, I guess from a, how do you feel Nitro is now contributing to the overall technology and transformation objectives?
Yeah, I definitely think it's made people more efficient, and it's really around the small things. I remember, not long after starting, there was a lot of printing and a lot of manual signing going on. I think the options that you've got within Nitro really open things up to people, and combined with the training and the customer success contribution, really has driven our adoption around the quick sign functionality and the Nitro sign option. So really, I think things are, in terms of process within our organisation, things that need to be signed off, and in local government, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that need to be signed, and there's a lot of process. It's certainly little things like that are really helping, drive that.
From a security perspective, how do you feel Nitro helped cover off data, data security and privacy?
Yeah, no, I felt the accreditations that Nitro have were suitable for our organisation. It was, I never really had any concerns around that. I think the thing that is, noteworthy there is the Nitro Sign product. So, it's more a SaaS-based online portal where you can send documents for signing, and you can, it's really easy to use, really easy to get a document signed externally or internally within minutes, and it's great how it audits, and captures the IP address of those signees, so that'll stand up if you have a challenge on that.
From the collaboration within the council, having Nitro now, how's it helped, affect other departments where you've been able to provide this access to everyone?
Oh, look, the unlimited site licence has just made it so easy that we've got Nitro as our default PDF editor and reader, and it's just part of our standard operating environment. And we just all users get it, and they all get the premium features.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess you've got two types of signatures. You've got that drag and drop signature, but then also sending the documents for signing. What parts of the council are starting to use that?
Look, we've certainly really adopted the base product really well, and the analytics will show that. But yeah, certainly getting a lot more interest with the sign product, and particularly from areas like our bereavement services area, who deal with a lot of funeral directors and need documents, signed off quite regularly. So there's a lot of interest there, and we're sort of assisting them in their journey to go down that path. So yeah.
Dane, just touching on the technology from a scalable and flexible point of view, how do you see Nitro's been able to help with the way we've licensed you to sort of be able to look forward with the technology requirements?
Yeah, I think the unlimited site license was a godsend for us compared to our previous provider. That's created a lot of flexibility for us, and also opened a lot of capability in a PDF editing product that other users or staff within our council wouldn't have had under our previous licensing scheme. So yeah, certainly flexible, scalable. The sign functionality is there for everyone as well, so that can be used if they, particularly if they need to go externally, in the case that I sort of raised with our bereavement services team. Yeah.
So you can actually see here on the slide now the analytics. So this is showing you the total users sitting at, what does it say there? 600 and something? My eyesight. And then the regular users, so this is people who are using it more than 3 times a week. And when you think back to what I said earlier, that originally there were 200 people in the organisation who had access to a, PDF editing tool. And so it's been a huge success story, and it also shows us how in the industry it's comparing to other local government councils as far as usage goes. So you can look at user usage and feature usage, and that helps us then identify where we want to continue to work with the council. Dan, from the IT department, I guess managing costs is crucial. We've all got to do more with less and find ways to do it. Nitro's cost structure, how's it helped, I guess, from an ongoing budgeting and overall cost management perspective?
Oh, there's not much to worry about with it, really. Or just not having to worry about the licence management compared to Adobe. It's been a real godsend, as Dane mentioned, having that site licence and not having to manage licences. It's just essentially we get one invoice. All licences are assigned to all staff as part of our automated onboarding process, and really it just can't get any easier than that.
What's the overall feedback, say, within the council? I mean, if you've gone from 200 people using it to 600 people using this sort of technology, like, are you hearing different things back from various departments as to what's the feedback coming back now a year later, where people are using these tools on a regular basis?
Very little feedback, because no feedback is good feedback, really. It does the job, and look, we did have the naysayers, as I mentioned earlier, early on, but they've stopped. Then just with the ongoing training that's provided by Nitro, that's what sort of helps us out.
Dane, from a sustainability perspective, the idea of being able to print less is obviously a good thing. How are you seeing Nitro impact that now that people have got these tools that avoid that print, sign and scan dance?
Yeah, well, I guess the signing option, gives you a lot of flexibility in not having to print, documentation for signing and the like. So that's certainly a feature that I spoke about earlier. The other aspect, there is also the analytics, which I think is really a strong feature that we didn't have in our previous provider as well. So we can see who's printing, PDF documents and whether that trend is going up, down, staying static as well. So that's a really strong feature of the product too.
Yeah, so we're able to sort of look at the top 10 printers in any organisation and track printing from Nitro, and it's like, why is that printer in finance or, God forbid, in IT printing so much when people have got access to these tools? So we're able to help identify that and then work with the department to understand what it is, why it is, and how do we help change that behaviour over time. Dan, finally, from a user adoption perspective, the technology, could you discuss how Nitro's user adoption has progressed since the initial rollout? And I think those analytics that we just looked at.
Oh yeah, they clearly show the story. But just that ongoing training again. That's what's helped us with that user adoption piece. And look, and it is a fully featured product, and it's easy to use. We just don't have any issues with staff using it now. And even those staff, look, we've got those that are, I guess, champions, you could call them, use all features of the product, and those that irregular use as well. And those staff go to the learning portal, learn how to do their basic tasks and functions, and off and running. Yep.
And Dane and Dan, as we conclude, could you maybe just share a couple of best practices you've seen or productivity tips with Nitro that other councils could potentially take away from this session?
I think the customer success manager and the support in the change I was really impressed with. Something we really didn't have to worry about too much internally. So I would encourage other councils that want to go on this journey that they use that, because I thought that was really powerful with our implementation. And as I mentioned, the analytics is quite impressive too, in terms of it's showing you usage within your workforce, printing trends and the like. So there's a lot of data there that you can consume and get a gauge on how things are progressing within the organisation.
Dan, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we followed the recommended implementation plan provided by Nitro, and that was a real success. Just following that guidance and also sort of reiterating what Dane said, the ongoing training provided, utilise that because that's what made it such a success.
We've structured a methodology now where we can look at doing evaluation, rollout, change management prior to your current agreement expiring without you having to pay a cent until your current agreement expires. So we actually provide that methodology to buy you the time you need up to 12 months out of your current agreement expiring. So please come and have a chat to us about that. Thanks very much, Dane and Dan. Much appreciated. Thanks. Yep.
I think there's some questions from the audience, if you wanted to take those.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do the first one. How do we prioritise our rollout? We just started with our power users and got them to do the pilot testing, and from there we did a gradual rollout by departments, and then as we sort of I guess garnered the success of that, we just did the bulk rollout with the communications plan and templates that were provided by Nitro. It was it was actually probably one of the easier,
smoother ones.
Yeah.
I think just to add to that, we're definitely targeting the EAs of the the general manager and the directors, because they're generally quite powerful in local government organisations. So we wanted to make sure they were comfortable with the change. So we paid special attention to them as well. So.
The next one around digital workflows and signing from a permanent solution, or do you see it as a workaround as you develop the capability directly into systems of record like Tech One?
Yeah, it certainly helps. I think that there'll always be a need for a product like Nitro, though. Ideally you do get digital signing into your ERP, whatever that may be, and build that into the process. But I think there's always going to be a space for a product like Nitro in local government, given the way it operates. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add to that. I mean, the big thing we're seeing is lots of organisations are running maybe something out of an ERP, but they're also running Nitro, and people are starting to identify what are the simple e-signing workflows, right, that don't need to have a lot of cost or complexity attached to them, and that's where Nitro sits and plays really well. Have you utilised internal champion users to handhold the implementation?
Yeah, that was pretty much our power users. That was a lot of EAs and PAs and other targeted users that were, I guess, your technical users and advanced users of the product, and governance as well. And they came back with a lot of questions and a lot of how-tos, and based on that, we were able to solve their issues. Just some technical things with teething issues with Nitro in the early phases, and once we've sort of solved all their issues, we could push that out to the rest of the organisation.
Okay. And your own learning and development team, I guess, how have they been engaged ongoing with the support of our customer success manager?
Oh, look, there has been some engagement, but we were really surprised, pleasantly surprised with the level of support we got. So we felt we didn't need to collaborate too much with L&D, apart from just letting them know that that's the path we were taking. It wasn't an impost on their time. We really felt that the process was managed well from Nitro's perspective, and really helped us get on board. So
yeah, we had numerous training sessions, and it was just gathering the numbers and scheduling the training in.
Thank you.
Sorry.
On time. 2 minutes ahead. Thanks very much.